Questa with this group, 27 minutes past 3, and I welcome you to our studio, Ms. Rosie Motene. Welcome indeed.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you guys again.
Very good to see you.
Yes.
And of your many accomplishments, actress, MC, voice-over artist, women's advocate and activist, you are now an author.
I am.
Yay!
Award-winning author.
Oh, excuse me! Already award-winning.
Yeah, African Author Awards.
Wow, Rosie.
Yeah.
So
I've never won one.
I know. That's fine,
Some animals are more equal than
Some
others.
animals are more equal than others. Rosie, you've written a book,
Yeah.
Reclaiming the Soil.
Yeah.
Most of us think we know your story, but please tell us in brief what you've written about, which is about growing up
Yeah.
black with white people, essentially. So to
Well,
speak.
essentially, it's growing up as a little black girl trying to be white. My mother was a domestic worker working for a white Jewish family who took it upon themselves to raise me, which was a great sacrifice, and sacrifice from both parents. Wonderful opportunities in terms of the material side, because I was afforded the education that my biological parents could never have given me, the lifestyle and so forth.
Right.
However, I wasn't taught my tradition.
Right.
I wasn't taught about language. I wasn't taught about culture. I wasn't taught about pride. And so the denial that I went through all the way up until my 30s, and yes, I used to say I had an identity crisis, but I didn't really come to terms with it. And it got to a point in my 30s where I was at a place of feeling totally betrayed, feeling lost, feeling confused.
Betrayed by whom?
My foster family.
Got it.
And I woke up one day, and literally it was an epiphany, because I was driving on the highway and I got a sharp pain on the left side of my body, and I pulled over, and a voice said to me, "Go home." And I called Mama. I said, "Mama, I need to come home." And she was like, "Okay, well, you know where the road is. Come on."
You got a car.
You know what I mean? And I remember seeing a sign, extra space, and this number, and I packed up my house, put everything into storage, and I got into my little Renault, and I drove home. And driving home, I cried and cried and cried, because I realized the pain that I'd been holding for such a long time. Number one. Number two, and for people who don't know, is that I knew my parents, and I used to visit them on the odd holiday and send money home, but I'd never ever really acknowledged my parents as my parents.
Did your mom continue working as a domestic worker?
When I matriculated, the family moved to Israel, and then my mom worked for the Sun for a while, and then she retired.
So she was always in your space?
Yeah, she was always in my space. So from varsity, from second, third year varsity, that's when she went home. And because I hated Pogeng so much, I mean, Pogeng was a place of fear for me, because as a kid, I was told, "You naughty, you're going to go back to Pogeng." So with me driving home and crying, for me driving home, I was like, I'm not scared. And it was the first time that I didn't feel that. And then
hold that thought, Rosie. Guys, this is going to be a great conversation. Don't go anywhere. If you have any questions for Rosie Motene, who's our guest in studio, she's written a beautiful book, Reclaiming the Soil, which is about reclaiming herself, her heritage, her language, and all sorts of other things. But you know her for all sorts of other things, especially being an advocate for women and being an activist. You've been on the board of Power for many, many years.
Yes.
Yeah? We'll be talking more about that when we come back. Any questions for Rosie? Give us a call right now, 086 00 959. Here's Sandile van Heerden with the latest Khaya Sports Update.
Khaya FM Sports.